Special shout out to Mr. O'Connor for making this venue possible, giving us his workers to help set up. And we really appreciate it. There's a lot of you who have seen this place way before this setup, and total transformation. So thank you so much again for that, and for all your rec workers, my guys working the time clock, all you guys, we appreciate it so much. All right, it's looking like we're pretty settled. I still hear a couple of chips, but that's cool because I want to eat some more too. Let's begin this third and final session. So I've personally worked with our next two presenters on a variety of projects and assignments, and I've always valued the energy and passion that they bring to whatever task that they are given. So here to talk about a collective passion that is rarely ever associated with the incarcerated, please welcome Antwan Guthrie and Samuel Render.
Hello, testing, 1, 2, all right. Hi, I'm Samuel.
And I'm Twan.
And we are gamers. I'm talking like hardcore gamers. Like for me, in order to compete effectively, I must forward multiple ports for optimal connectivity and to reduce lag.
And just as hardcore, it took me about 80 real-life hours, yes, 80 hours, to do all the breeding, racing, and feeding of chocobos in Final Fantasy VII to get the final summon material.
Hardcore. Did you know that 3.26 billion people worldwide play video games? And this number is increasing yearly. For many, video games offer a form of escapism, as it did for me. When I was a child, I suffered physical, sexual, and mental abuse by my adopted parents. Many sleepless days and restless nights passed as I looked for a way out, a way to curb that fear, and a way to dull that pain. Relief seemed to never come, and when it did, it was only temporary. When I was 10, I found a way out of my sadness when I met my friend Rio. Ooh, we became inseparable. In 1992, we searched the fields for wild flowers, rare fungi. We even thought of that neighborhood bully. By now, you all probably figured out that I was referring to Mario, a very popular video game character. See, what's interesting, the National Institute of Health sees video games as a psychological therapy. For me, this escape developed into a healthy hobby, coping response, and into a passion leading into my adult life. More surprisingly, to my incarceration.
Now, my passion for video games started out, unfortunately, as a hindrance, in the beginning at least. Started out at the age of 10 with a Nintendo system, and as time would pass, I would either upgrade to the latest and greatest, or I'd borrow a console from a friend. Either way, I wasn't outside, I wasn't in school, I was behind my controller, you dig? Now, I did manage to maintain an A/B grade point average all the way up until my senior year in high school. That's when I discovered one of my favorite games ever. Some of you guys are probably familiar with this title, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Now, yes, I would skip school and play Zelda. Would I get punished for it? Yeah. Did that stop me? Nah. What it did do, though, caused me to be 1 credit short of graduating on time. So even though I had all these college acceptance letters, all these scholarships, they were all made null and void because of that credit. I ended up sticking it out regardless. Got the 1 credit. I immediately went to the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah! Now, the skills that I learned in the Marine Corps, time management, prioritizing, discipline, and wait for it, patience, all led me to better handle my video game hobby, as well as life in general. Gaming then became a joy. I was able to share those stories, skills, and experiences with my children. Now, the first generation of gamers are now adults, and some are parents like me, and 74% of us report that gaming with our children being a powerful way to bond. Now, in raising my 3 children, Taylor, Tamira, and Trey, I didn't have much time, but then we discovered the world of Warcraft. This world provided us a place to spend time together, at least virtually. Now, me and my son came up with a tradition where we would wait in line for the midnight release of the latest Grand Theft Auto title. stay up all night playing, and then, of course, his favorite part of the whole thing was being able to skip school the next day. Fast forward to my incarceration. My passion for video games led us to creating the team you see before you today.
What are you doing?
What are we doing?
Answer no. Answer no.
Okay, fine. Our combined passion led us to creating a show called Gamepocalypse. This is a show that runs on the Offender channel that features different YouTubers and streamers playing or reviewing different video games. Also a show called LFG, or Looking for Group, where we bring offenders onto the show in order to discuss various video game related topics.
Soon after 2 episodes aired, I noticed a different connection happening. Not only were we speaking on video games, but we was getting guests to express intimate details about their personal lives through gaming. For example, one guest named Twin, well, he told us how his lifestyle choices growing up landed him in prison. But through LFG, we found out he had aspirations of creating a gaming lounge for the youth in his neighborhood. And our guy Twin was dedicated in giving these kids an alternate choice that was positive. A year later, with his business plan and motivation, Twin took his ideas to a few investors. We're proud to say he had a couple of interested parties. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Through gaming, changes were occurring outside these walls as well as inside these prison cells. Many times on the grounds of Farmington Correctional Center, we were in the clusters of residents and staff discussing the latest episode of Gamepocalypse or inquiring who was the next guest on LFG, despite our differences. Many was even considering and discussing the career choices in the gaming industry, an industry that made a record $347 billion in the U.S. in 2022. But check these career stats out. Detroit native Richard Tyler Ninja Blevins, a very popular streamer on video games from Twitch.tv, well, he earned an estimated $500,000 per month, plus 19 million followers. Mind blown. So it's safe to say a career in gaming is not only possible, it's realistic.
Now, to be 100% honest, bringing people together wasn't my original intent. I was getting videos and information on the games that I enjoyed. But then I had an epiphany. I thought to myself, Twan, other people might enjoy this just as much as you do. So I decided to make a show out of it. Just like Samuel said, I was also part of numerous conversations between individuals who would, under normal circumstances, never, ever, ever communicate with each other. At least not in a positive manner. I was personally in awe by the fact that so many different people from so many different walks of life were not only bonding, but also forming friendships over their shared love of video games. And with 82% of gamers saying that video games have introduced them to new friendships and relationships, this clearly isn't something new. Now, there are as many type of people as there are type of gamers, and vice versa. But rather than arguing over their differences, people were bonding over their shared interests. So I guess in the end, that would make me and Samuel hardcore gamers as well as master carpenters, because we have been building and are continuing to build bridges of communication among people that's reinforced by our love for video games. So until next time, GG.
Or good game.
All right, fellas, thank you so much. Anybody remember Mario Kart? Yeah? All right. You said no? Don't date yourself, Stacy. You're going to tell. Our next presenter is a man who has taught me something very noble, and that is the love of teaching itself. Education isn't just a thing, it's an identity. And our next presenter is one of its closest friends. Please welcome Paul Cote.
Thank you, Mark. I grew up in a small rural Kansas town where working the fields or at one of 2 factories was the norm. Going to my blue-collar family, went to college. School was something you just had to do. As an average or below average student, I just went through the motions. My report cards reflected my teacher's view of me as a lost cause. I was more interested hanging out with my friends, cutting up in class, and being the class clown. One time, I got an A on a story I wrote. Teacher even read it to the class. I was proud of it. When I got home, I only received a, "That's nice," from my mom and stepdad. So I learned to tolerate education, to get through it. There was no love for it. When I came to prison in Missouri in 2001, I was forced to get my GED. I had graduated from high school in 1986, and my diploma had been good enough for the U.S. Army, Kansas Department of Corrections, and every job I ever had. It had even been good enough for me to get into a couple of college programs. But the Department of Corrections in Missouri said it didn't say diploma, so it didn't count. Another reason to find no love for education. I managed to earn my GED in just a few months. I asked for college or tech programs. Here I was with time on my hands, get some college under my belt, and improve myself, only to be told it wasn't available. Here was yet another reason to believe that education wasn't for me, didn't like me, and the feeling was quite mutual. After an incident at that prison, I was transferred to another facility that offered many more programs than the previous one. Education may be fickle. When she gets her eyes set on you, she doesn't give up. My first opportunity came when a teacher was looking for a GED tutor. She gave me a shot. I quickly learned that I was both good at it and I enjoyed it. I remember one time I was teaching a guy algebra. Most people break out in hives when you say the word algebra. This guy was no different. But I saw the light bulb come on. He got it. Smile did problem after problem on his own. I was so proud of him in that moment. All my life, I had been selfish and only thought about myself. But I was beginning to put others first. Education was beginning to make me love her. This was only the first for many ploys. A few years later, posters began to appear for free college courses on theology. Not a subject real high on my list to study, but I said to myself, it's college and it's free. Over 300 men applied, and I was one of 15 chosen. Now, this was not some fly-by-night school. This was St. Louis University. Again, education was seducing me. Not only did she like me, but a relationship of love was blossoming. When I first walked into class, I felt out of my element. I mean, there were guys sitting around the tables that were smarter than me. One guy used what we call 50-cent words in everyday conversation. Just talking to him intimidated me. Another guy did calculus for fun. And another guy could write and read biblical Greek. But I quickly learned that I wasn't as dumb and as worthless as I'd been led to believe all my life. Professors showed us so much care and love. They treated us like human beings. They spent hours driving to and from the prison, hours teaching us, and then going back to their jobs on campus and grading our papers. It was like we were really college students and not inmates. When papers came back, professors' comments and grades reflected the hard work and thought I'd put into them, my confidence grew, and I realized I did fit in. Education had succeeded in getting me into a full-blown love relationship. The Certificate of Theology program was such a success, they expanded it into an associate arts degree. More professors, more eye-opening thinking, and I was totally head over heels in love with education. Not just mine, but helping others with theirs. I've been a GED tutor off and on, both as a prison job and as a volunteer in a small group project for one of our St. Louis University classes. I earned my associate's degree in 2015. the first thing I had ever finished. But I wasn't done yet. I craved more. I was addicted. I had to have it. But I didn't have the financial resources to pursue more. Little did I know, education wasn't done with me. In late 2018, we got tablets. Soon afterwards, posters began to appear for free college courses on the tablet. I thought this sounded a little hinky, but after some exploration and investigation, I found out, hey, it was legit. It was possible through the Second Chance Pell Grant that President Obama had put into place a few years prior to help those of us in prison get a college education. I applied and was accepted into the Bachelor of Arts program through Ashland University. I was able to use some of the credits I earned through St. Louis University, and in a couple of years, December of 2020, I earned my BA in Communication and graduated summa cum laude. While studying for my BA, my job as a teaching assistant at the St. Louis University program fueled my desire to help others find her. The thing about a relationship with education, she gives you so much that you want others to experience her as well. For most of my life, I'd listened to the voices that told me I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't good enough, and I wasn't meant to succeed in life. Education had proven otherwise. As I spoke to my other students and those I tutored, I found many of them had been fed the same lies. This motivated me to share the love story that education has given to me. I had found a way and a purpose to help others without focusing just on myself. Education has given me so much more than just mere knowledge. She's taught me about other people, cultures, religions, and backgrounds. Education fuels me with a drive to reach back and help those find others find her. We can do anything we put our minds to with the right motivation and encouragement. I have found the more I give education away, the more she comes back to me. That's why I try to motivate and encourage my students every day. In 2021, I was transferred again, and once again I find myself in the role of tutor. I love my job. I take pride in seeing the men I help reach their goals. Recently, 2 longtime students were able to reach their goals and complete their high school equivalency. These 2 men earned something no one can ever take away from them. That's what love has to do with education. Getting it, allowing her to fill you up to overflowing, and then giving her away so others can experience her love. My goal upon release is to reach back and continue to help those left behind. Education is the key to change the lives of everyone, locked up or not. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Paul. I really appreciate it. And it's just awesome that we have different and various educational opportunities even while incarcerated. So yes, we do study. It's not just handball and basketball and lifting weights. There is an educational component as well. So thanks again, Paul. This next performer is known throughout Farmington for his musical talent. His experience as a musician and vocalist make him an asset wherever he goes. Performing his original song, Change the World, he hopes to do just that through the power of music. Accompanied by Mr. Jay Robinson on acoustic guitar, please welcome Christopher Mollett.
Thank you, Mark, for that wonderful introduction. I'd like to dedicate this song today to my father, James Allen Mollett, who passed away April 14th of 2014, leaving behind a wife and 3 sons who love and miss him every day. If it was not for the unwavering love and support that he and my mother blessed me with throughout my life, I never would have survived my addiction to be standing on this stage today, celebrating 9 years of sobriety and sharing this moment with all of you. Thank you. So, Dad, I love you, and I miss you, and this song is for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Children dying, mothers crying, politicians lying, bombs are flying, and it's too bad that we're too busy fighting to see what we're doing is wrong. And we're too lazy to change the world, so afraid it'll take too long. And where do we go from here? In a world full of trouble and fear, and maybe it's not so bad. All we gotta do is find our way back from here. People struggling, kids are starving, no one to help them. Isn't it alarming in our free country? To tell me, why does it cost so much to live? And we're so wasteful, we throw so many things away, but there's nothing left to give. And where do we go from here? In a world full of trouble and fear, and maybe it's not so bad. All we gotta do is find our way back. And where do we go from here? In a world full of trouble and fear, and maybe it's not so bad. All we gotta do is find our way back from here. Where do we go from here? People loving, people living, nobody's struggling, everybody's giving. It's not too late to change the world if we just give up the fight. Well, it don't matter who started what, who cares about who's wrong and who's right. And where do we go from here? In a world full of trouble and fear, and maybe it's not so bad. All we gotta do is find our way back. And where do we go from here? In a world full of trouble and fear, maybe it's not so bad. All we gotta do is find our way back from here. From here. Thank you.
All right, thanks again, Chris. That was phenomenal. Now, our next presenter is an individual who has used his personal journey in an effort to articulate aspects of life that many of us have felt or experienced but never really truly understood. He is an advocate for care, teaching us that sometimes it is okay to not be okay. And at the same time, showing us how to use these moments as an opportunity to learn how to take care of ourselves. He daily lives the benefit of being connected to the world around him. Please help me welcome Jeshua Noel.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Wow. What's your favorite breakfast food? Do you feel the floor beneath your feet? What is your name? And what do you love more than anything in the world? These questions are not unrelated. Each concerns itself with what it means to be you. Each holds the potential for a re-encounter with the self. And together, these questions can bring a renewed sense of clarity to identity and being. Now, I know what it's like to feel pushed beyond or shoved out of myself. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with PTSD, with recurring dissociative disorders. An illustration for those unfamiliar with the term, it's my 5th birthday party, hosted at an indoor playground called, ironically, Going Bonkers. There are lights and there is noise, and there is my mother brushing back my hair. The room is getting bigger. Its contents are getting further away, and suddenly, I don't feel real anymore. Such experiences would come to permeate my daily life. I knew people who would do anything to escape reality, while I would do anything to feel real. I spent most of 21, all of 22, and the first third of 23 on pretrial house arrest. The surrealism of having lost everything sparked a desire for a new beginning. It was time to heal. I started seeing a therapist. I had some prior experience with meditation, and she tapped into this as she taught me new breathing and counting exercises to help keep my feet on the ground. She also helped me cultivate a happy place, which was great, but when I'm dissociative, I need to feel that I'm here, not on the purple sands of Wiggle Island. And so, I started experimenting. I expanded the breathing and counting routines into an exercise in environmental awareness, one that begins with the recognition of individual physical sensations and then progresses toward the conceptualization of each environmental element generating that sensory input. So I realized I could sit outside and say, I hear 2 birds singing. I see 4 trees over there, and genuinely feel more in tune with my immediate reality. But then, as the date of my trial began to approach, I began to wrestle with my sense of self. When you've done something terrible, it becomes the only thing you've ever done. I became obsessed with the idea of who I was in and to the world. It was increasingly clear that I was going to serve a prison sentence, that I was going to uproot all that was familiar in my life. And as I started saying my goodbyes, I also started making lists. I made a playlist and filled it with all of my favorite songs. I made a list of my favorite cookies, of my favorite scents. And I looked to these lists for closure and catharsis, but instead, they brought me into conversation with myself, urged me to laugh with and at myself, to relate to myself by way of a list of seemingly inconsequential preferences was, in a way, the perfect foil to legacy. There were moments throughout what I call my house arrest era in which I suffered from suicidal ideation, but now I realized that to kill myself wouldn't just mean opting out of life. It would mean destroying this small and special creature who prefers lilac to lavender and snickerdoodle to chocolate chip. There is an innocent and earnest satisfaction in taking these small preferences seriously, taking the time to reply thoughtfully to the trivial is a habit we often fall out of as we age into ambiguity. Even my favorite breakfast food is a component of my identity. And amid my identity crisis, I needed to know that I'm something more than a story or a legacy, that I'm also a person who likes waffles, and that sometimes that's all I can be, and that that's okay. Now, this re-encounter with myself, this radical self-compassion, led to larger questions. What do I love? What is my truth? I had finally become someone I could learn to live with, to care for, to forgive. For years, PTSD had taken me away from myself, and now it was time for me to step out beyond myself on purpose and with purpose. My fiance experiences dissociative episodes as well. And as we worked through these issues together, she helped me compress the essential elements of my personal journey into a set of replicable exercises. And from this, the grounding pyramid was born. Our journey begins at the bottom of the pyramid, with the recognition of our own presence, and with the introduction of slow, intentional breaths. We then progress upward to the bodily awareness stage of the pyramid, in which we take some time to acknowledge the different parts of our bodies and to truly appreciate and experience their interconnectedness. From here, we ease into the sensory engagement stage. This is where we take some time to focus on the things that we feel, smell, hear, and see around us. I like to start with touch and then end with sight, going from the most to the least, let's say, physical of the five senses. From there, we move into conceptualization. Here, we focus on those same environmental elements, those sensory input generators, but on counting them and on perhaps describing them. It's worth noting here that for phase one, the first two steps of the pyramid, we focus on our physical external self. And then for the next two stages, on our environment, because now, for the top of the pyramid, for the third phase, we turn our attention inward. In the identity stage, we introduce ourselves to ourselves by name. My name is Jeshua. We then use the choice stage as an extension of this claim to identity. It sounds like this. My name is Jeshua, and my favorite flower is the bunch flower daffodil. This then serves as a segue into the love stage, the top of the pyramid. We transition here from our inner self to preparation to take that first step out beyond this self into the world. My name is Jeshua, and I love to write. And the open recognition and expression of this helps me to orient myself. It empowers me so that when I need to be more than somebody who likes waffles or daffodils, and the day does come, I know what I'm all about. There are portions of my life that feel, in retrospect, like one long, sustained episode. You've heard about the experiences that helped bring me back and about the exercises my partner and I compressed them into. But it's worth noting that these exercises, this grounding pyramid, is not just for people who experience dissociative episodes. It's for anybody who feels disoriented, disconnected, out of touch, who struggles with anxiety and racing thoughts, who needs to feel more comfortable in their own reality. It's for you, to empower you, to hold your own hand, to guide yourself as you step forward outside of yourself and into the world beyond. My name is Jeshua, and I am so many things, and I love so many things. And through this love, I am more. And yet, I'm here, breathing, a small and special creature with my feet on the floor, and that's okay.
All right, thanks again, Jeshua. Really quickly, I want to get some of you guys a little hip to some prison slang, all right? So residents, do me a favor. I'm going to start off this phrase, and if you know what the response is, say it back, all right? And if you don't know, I'm going to make fun of you later, all right? Just my residents. I'm going to start off the phrase. You shout back the last part. You ready? Money on the wood? Hey, now, some of y'all know too much. Let me give my visitors kind of an equivalency of what that is. This is the show me state, so show me. We're here, and hopefully you all are seeing things that make you desire to commit to help with change. If you are interested, please write down this website, www.proximityforjustice.org. www.proximityforjustice.org. It is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to helping the incarcerated people re-enter society successfully. Okay? So if you're really about it, you got to show me. You got to show me. So now everybody can join in this one. I'm going to say it one more time. And everybody, money on the wood. As a former medic in the National Guard, our next presenter has always answered the call to serve others. As a tutor, he learned Spanish to help Spanish-speaking residents learn English. He learned sign language to offer social outlets to those who couldn't speak at all. He even learned guitar so that one of his friends wouldn't have to learn it by themselves. To perform a song he wrote to express the condition of love no matter who you are, bond or free, accompanied by Eddie Dean on drums and Alan Johnson on bass, please welcome Aaron Thomas.
In an unfamiliar place, moving at a stranger pace, every day in a different phase. A prison of my own making, living but I'm just faking. Tell me what I'm missing. Come back to love. We get love but we don't give love. We give love but we don't get love. In this circle round again. Where is the love from darkness into light? The love that makes things right. The love that keeps me through the night. Where is the love that gives freely? The love that forgives me. Where's the love that never fails? The actions of the past, hoping the effects won't last. Can I get another chance? Tell me how you feel, then maybe we can heal and come back to love. We give love but we don't give love. We give love but we don't get love. In this circle round again. Where is the love from darkness into light? The love that makes things right. The love that keeps me through the night. Where is the love that gives freely? The love that forgives me. Where's the love that never fails? Love, one for our shame. We need a love, one for our pain. We need a love that knows our name. We need a love that conquers everything. We need a love that silences the hate, that can bring a change, that can bring a change. Love from darkness into light, the love that makes things love, but we don't give love. We give love, but we don't get love. In this circle round again. We give love, but we don't give love. We give love, but we don't get love. In this circle round again. Come back to love.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Woo, what a day, man. And so before our final presenter comes up, I want to say just a few very important notes. This is a man who is a huge, huge, huge inspiration because not only was he incarcerated, but upon release, he wasn't satisfied with just going back into society. He wouldn't be satisfied until he became a part of the change that we so desperately desire. Because as residents, the one thing that we look for most from guys who've gotten out is their ability to reach back and to encourage us and to let us know that the world is waiting for us to go out there and to do something with ourselves, to show society that we can succeed. And this is a man who has done that tremendously. If you have time, please visit andrenorman.com. He's an author, he's a speaker, and really he's just a down-to-earth. Hey, any you guys meet him yet? Yeah. Just a down-to-earth fella, and we are so glad that he's here. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Andre Norman.
Ladies and gentlemen, as introduced, my name is Andre Norman. Today, I have an idea worth sharing. This is an idea that I need you to embrace, feel, and take out into the world. Gold and diamonds lay inside our institutions. Inside the penitentiaries across this country hold 2.2 million men and women. We've committed bad acts, we've done things, made bad choices, and we are here. But I want you to understand about those of us who are here that 90% of us are coming home. Not only 90% of the 2.2 million people are coming home, 600,000 people come home every year. We know the numbers about those who come back and why they don't make it in technicals. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the 2.2 million people who rest inside of facilities across America. And we're talking about the 600,000 men and women who walk back into our societies and live next door to us every single day. I believe it is my sharing today that these people are the next wave of greatness. These are the people that our society needs to become the great society that we once were. We have left out an entire generation of people because we made mistakes. I own the accountability for the mistakes that I made, but it shouldn't discount me forever. I spent 14 years in state and federal prison. And while I sat in solitary confinement for 2.5 years, I came up with some solutions for life. And I walked around the prison and I would share my ideas with my fellow comrades. I would share my ideas in different programs, and people said, "Dre, you're crazy. You're a prisoner. You have no value. Andre, you're a gang member. You have no value. Your ideas don't matter because you're here inside of a facility." I said, "But these are good ideas." They said, "No, Andre." They said, "Where did you learn them?" I said, "While I was in solitary, there was a guy next door to me named Junior, and I run my ideas by Junior, who was highly medicated. And when Junior could understand my ideas, I knew I had a good idea." They were like, "No, Andre, that works in solitary with a guy who's highly medicated. We're talking about world issues. You're talking about solitary crazy people. It doesn't equate." And every single day, I would walk the yard with my ideas. And people would tell me, you're a prisoner. You're a convicted felon. You're black. You're from the hood. You're from a public school. You're a castaway. I said, but these ideas work. And nobody would believe me. Then I ran into a GED teacher. We love teachers. And I told her my idea, wanting to go to Harvard University, and she said, that's a great idea, Andre. I think you should do it. It was the first person who believed in my idea, not of sitting in penitentiary with 105 years. I said, I want to go to Harvard. She heard the greatness. She didn't hear the fall. She said, rise to your greatness. Don't sink to your worst mistake or decision. And I started going, and I got my GED. I went to the law library. I said, I want to go home. Teach me the law. Nobody told me I was a high school dropout. They taught me the law. I went to anger management programs that the facility offered. And lo and behold, I started working on me. And I still would come out to the yard, and they would tell me, Andre, your ideas don't work because you're a prisoner. You're a throwaway. We don't do this in this world. I went to a parole board after 14 years, and our parole chairman gave me the chance to go home. And I promised to go home and help people. I stood before the board, and I said, I promise, if you give me this opportunity, I will go home and I will commit my life to helping people. And she said, Andre, I'm going to believe you, even though all papers and all stats say it's not going to work. And when I walked out of prison at 10 a.m., I went to the parole office and I signed the paperwork. And then I went to a juvenile detention center. And I stood in the juvenile detention center. I said, you're going to jail not because you're black. You're going to jail not because you carry a gun and smoke weed. You're going to jail because somebody let you down. They weren't there for you, and they hurt you. And as a result, you self-medicate and you act out. And then you start doing things that become criminal, and they put you in places like this, then you scale up to state prison. Let me show you how not to come here. And I work with these boys every day. And somebody said, Andre, there's some girls upstairs. I said, I don't know nothing about being a girl. They said, it's okay. So I went to the girls' unit, and we tell the little girls who've been molested, beaten, raped, prostituted, thrown into the street, that you can never be good again. I said, why are we telling young girls they can never be whole again? Well, they were prostitutes. They smoked crack. I said, well, so didn't the boys. Why are we giving two messages to the same population? I told them little girls, you can be whole again. You can be a mom. You can be a teacher. You can be great. Forget what they say. The little girl sat up. The counselor's like, why are you giving them false hope? I said, no, you're giving them false dreams. And I just kept working. I went to a community agency where all the experts came together. They talked about healing the community. And I sat in the back of the room and I listened. At the end, I raised my hand. I said, y'all are 100% wrong. And I told them the solution to fixing gang violence in the cities. And we created a program called Violence Interrupters. And the Violence Interrupters went on to become credible messengers. I created that program in 1999. It has over $300 million in funding right now. That crazy idea. See, the guy that walked the yard with the crazy idea created a program that saved thousands of lives. Then I sat at a table with some other folks. And there was a president of the United States who wanted to help in battled cities. So we created another program called the Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives, which was to fund inner-city churches to do the work because they're already doing it. Again, that little crazy kid who walked the yard with all these stupid ideas created a national program that the president signed off on. They had a small conflict called Ferguson, where there was protests in the street over Michael Brown Jr. dying. And for 18 months, there were protests and riots in the street from the people. Then my phone rang. I have a lot of great friends from St. Louis. I call it my second home. They asked me to come and help, and I came. I got a brother named Dan Curran, David Spence, Rusty Keeley, and we went down to Ferguson, not at 2 in the afternoon for a photo op. We went down at 2 in the morning when they were out there, and they were mad and they were frustrated. And we sat and we talked. And the things that I learned in my anger management class was called reflective listening. So I listened to their pain. I listened to their issues. I started giving them solutions. And we were able to end the riots and protests in Ferguson. We took the mayor of Ferguson, the police chief of Ferguson, and the top leaders from the protest side. We took them to Harvard University to my office because I am a Harvard fellow. I said, come. We go to my office at Harvard, and we sat and we had a discussion. And the protesters and the police and the mayor were able to have conversation and get to know each other, not like each other, but communicate with each other. And thus ended the riots and the protests and the bullets and the gas. From that little crazy kid who learned anger management in a back room in a penitentiary that they said was worthless. That has continued on, helping at every chance. It wasn't that long ago, post 9/11, that my phone rang. It was the United Nations. They said, we have a small problem called terrorism. And we heard that you're good at getting people to get out of gangs and not join them. You think that'll work for young kids around Al-Qaeda? Can you get them not to join terrorist groups and blow up stuff? I said, I believe it will. But again, the guy who walked the yard with the crazy dreams that they said wouldn't work, it was working. A mom called me from Helena, Montana, and said, my daughter's suicidal. Can you help? I flew to Helena, Montana. Needless to say, there's very few black people there. I might have doubled the population. But when I got there, I went and found this young little girl, and I helped her find her true self. Because the things they taught me about resilience and reflective listening worked for her. And that mother hugged me and said, thank you, you've given me my daughter back. But again, the guy from prison that everybody said was worthless, and he made a mistake and can't bounce back, he can't be him. I'm telling you right now that inside of these walls, inside of our country, we hold 2.2 million problem solvers. Whether it's for little white girls in Montana, if it's kids not want to join terrorist groups in the Middle East, it's for gang members in New York or California. Your solution rests here. Because I know already in our suburbs where K2 and opioids and heroin and fentanyl is running rampant, we have thousands of parents in the suburbs freaking out right now because you don't know what to do. Because it's not where you come from, it's not what you understand, but it is where you live now. I will tell you in no uncertain terms, these penitentiaries are filled with drug addiction specialists because they've lived it. You don't need telehealth. You don't need some curriculum. You need somebody who's lived it and understands it fully. And when they come out there to talk to your kids, they can bring them the peace and the understanding that they need to transition out of their addiction and into their greatness. My great idea worth sharing is we need to look inside of the penitentiary, not just to say you've messed up, not to look inside the penitentiary and point fingers and say you should have, could have done better. Let's look inside the penitentiary and say these are people that can make America great again. These are people that can make people do better. These are people who can lift up our nation to a place that it hasn't been in a long time. Connected, united, on one page. I have a friend, Joe Polish, who owns a company called Genius Network. He believes that life gives to the giver, and we can't punish pain out of people. We can't punish people into a better space. We have to love them into a better space. They say, what love got to do with it? I am standing here I can't say the word. I'm standing here because love had everything to do with it. Personification. Listen, I mess up. I can't say the word. I said it when I was offline just now, but I got it. Listen, I ain't perfect. This ain't perfect. We ain't perfect, but we're still the best nation on the planet. A great philosopher once said, if you want to know the true measure of a nation, go visit their prisons. When you come here, you're going to see greatness, y'all, because we in the building. If you come to our prisons, we're in here. This is where I come. I'm not an accident. This is what happens when people who love us show up and show out. I had a CEO who looked at me one day and said, you need to be in this program, and even though you don't deserve to be in this program because of your status, I'm going to let you in. The CEO let me in and changed my whole presence, my whole trajectory on life. A CEO said, Get in there, Norman. You need to be in there. But he didn't give me anything special. He just gave me an opportunity. What we need in here is an opportunity for all you people who are watching around the world saying, what do we do with these 2 million people? You give them an opportunity. And let us rise or fall based on our accountability and where we want to be in the world. I am just one of 2.2 million inside. I am not the only one. There are thousands and hundreds of thousands of people who are ready to help our nation, to help our people who are in need, who are struggling with addiction, who are struggling with depression, who are struggling, period. And then we have our workforce. Everybody across the nation has a workforce staff shortage, including corrections. Your workforce is sitting before you. If you give us the technology and the training, then we can actually come out and perform the services that you need. Right now, there's a company called Securus that gives us tablets. And on these tablets, we have technology. We can reach out and do trainings. I'm tired of movies. Let's get some training on these things. We can teach people how to level up. I commend the commissioners and the wardens for bringing the technology in because it's a scary thing. Safety first. I believe in safety first. But safety to the nation starts with education of its masses. But we have to educate us if we truly want to be safe. And education starts right now with the tablet. With a hit of a button, we can access all the information that's out there. Countless people right now in the world don't understand artificial intelligence. They're just on an Instagram. Imagine if you've been incarcerated for 20 years. How far back are we placing our people? What does love have to do with it? If we love our nation, we cannot divide ourselves from the 2.2 million people. You can't just embrace the ones that you like because we've transcended to a certain space. You have to love us all because you can't divide and conquer. I won't allow you. I'm not going to be the special one. I am just one of. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Are you really ready? It's that time. And I've read a few books in my times, and I remember there was a guy named Jesus who happened to go to jail. And when it was time for him to be released, the people said, no, give us the criminal. Where them people at? Hold up. When they wanted to let Jesus go, the blameless man, Son of God, they said, no, give us the criminals. I'm going to use biblical scripture. Give us the criminal. It's that time. Ladies and gentlemen, you did not gather in front of this tube, in front of these spaces and places for entertainment. You came here because you're looking for a fix. You're looking for an opportunity to make things better. And my great idea worth sharing is that through prison outreach, through prison fellowship, through prison education, the solution is sitting amongst us. We have to support those of us who are here. And people often say to me, Dre, well, how do we make better prisoners? You make better staff. So invest in the staff, invest in the staffing, and then they'll help us be better. Because without Robert Henderson, I don't stand here. Or excuse me, C.O. Henderson. Without Patrick Dempsey, who was a Catholic volunteer and the best man at my wedding, I don't stand here. People came to my aid and they loved me in spite of my past. They loved me to my greatness. We're asking that you do the same. That you take the time to say, okay, how do I get involved? Start with the one man or one woman can't make a difference, because Robert Henderson did. Start with the I don't know what to do. Google's out there. And the man gave you my website. If you don't know what to do, call me. I will take the call. It wasn't that long ago that we were just stuck at a crossroads and George Floyd died. Every white friend I had in America called my phone and said, Andre, I don't know what to do. And I took those calls. My friends were like, Dre, why are you taking these calls, man? They did us wrong. I said, we've been waiting 400 years for this phone to ring for this conversation. And I'm taking a damn call. We've been trying to figure out for 500 years what to do with these prisons. If you don't know that I'll take the call. Ladies and gentlemen, just don't hit like or subscribe. Activate yourselves. Let's make the world better. Because what love has to do with it is we're waiting on you.
Well, now that I don't want to be up here anymore. Thank you so much, Mr. Norman, for that encouragement. For our residents, he will be back for his own special event tonight at 6 p.m. And so I'm going to go ahead and I might get in a little trouble, but I'm going to put staff on the spot. Let's make sure count clears so we can come back. Remember, Ms. Vandergrift said no conduct violations. I can get it off. I can get it off. I can get it off. One more time for Andre Norman and all of our presenters today. And it's been such a blast. And before we close, I have a few more words I want to share. But before we do so, I want to make sure that this is engaging and this is interactive. Because in just a few moments, there are going to be some lyrics on the screen. And we're going to be joined by Mr. Irving Berry for one more performance. Listen, listen. Look around you, find somebody with rhythm. Catch the beat with them. Let's make it sound good, okay? All right? Here for one more song with the words on the screen, please welcome Mr. Irving Berry.
All right. Okay. All right, bro. Love is in this place. We've been in love today, right? Love is in this place. You ready? In this place, yeah, we call prison. Come on. In this place, that's not our home. Yeah, I know that love will see me through. Yeah, in this place, my home. In this place, come on, yeah, we call prison. Yeah, in this place, yeah, the troubles are sore. We know that love will see us through. Yeah, in this place, on my home. Save our soul, come on. Save my soul. There we go, come on. Yeah, don't let us wonder. Keep our heart, yeah, going asunder. Don't leave our soul in this pail. Oh Lord, please let us know. All is well. Come on. When we feel the pain of prison in this place. That's right. Come on. Where death seems strong. We know that love will see us. Yeah, in this place, we won't call our home. Hey, save our soul. Come on, yeah. Hey, don't let us wonder. Keep our heart from going asunder. Don't leave our soul in this pail. Oh Lord, please let us know. Hey, yeah, all is well. Love is in this place. We call prison. Come on. Love is in this place. in this prison. You're the love that's in this place. You're the love that's in this place. Yeah, in this prison. I'm the love that's in this prison. Come on. I'm the love that's in this place. In this prison. Come on. Come on.
Special shout out to our Farmington TEDx band. Y'all know it's solo time. You know it's solo time. On bass guitar, Mr. Jay Robinson. And on drums, we have Mr. Eddie D. And on keys, Mr. Aaron Thomas. And on electric guitar, Mr. Alan Johnson. And if you think that by now you can answer the question of what's love got to do with it, make some noise. Yeah. We want to thank you all again so much. We want to thank you all again so much for being a part of this. Residents, guests, and staff alike. We really, really, really appreciate it. And while this concludes our program, the work is just now beginning. The DOC aspires to improve lives for safer communities. That starts with us. That starts with all of us. We will need housing. We will need jobs. We will need an opportunity to help make a change. As Andre Norman said it, 90% of prisoners will be released back into society. And 1 in 3 adult Americans today have a criminal record. You can use your voice. Go out and tell people what you experienced here today. Share with the world the needs and the hopes of the incarcerated. You can use your vote, electing representatives, prosecutors, and judges who see the value in humanity and the worth in prison reform. And you can volunteer. There are classes that need instructors, trades that need to be taught, and time that you can give right here in this very institution. You can. After all, Gandhi said it best. We have to be the change that we want to see. So let's love our world enough to be all the difference that it needs. Say yes to the moment. Now let's try that again. Say yes to the moment.
Yes to the moment.
That's right. And commit to the change. Thank you so, so much for being a part of this historical event. Now let's go out and make history ourselves. Thank you.
Ended on this last note, the first verse, in this place. In this place. Come on. We call prison. In this place. That's not my home. I know that love will see me through. Yeah, in this place, we won't call our home. Love is in this place. Come on. Love is in this place. We call prison. We call prison. I'm the love that's in this place. Come on. I'm the love that's in this place. In this prison. In this prison. One more time. Yeah. I'm the love that's in this place. Ended. In this prison. All right.
Thank you. And for those of you who can, please remain just for one more moment because this is not a part of the script and we did not clear this with our event coordinators. So what are you going to do, lock me up? But I'm going to have Ms. Vandergrift join me on stage as well as our event coordinators, Ann Rice and Delia Cohen. And where is Mr. Andre Norman? Is he still here? And Mr. Petty? Come on up here. Come on up here. What you all don't understand is that this event took about 8 months to prepare. A lot of work, a lot of hours, and a lot of faith. And for the past 10 years, these two ladies, Ann and Delia, have been traveling the country giving voices to those who really don't have a voice. And thanks to them, we were able to do this. And I told them we want to celebrate the fact that you've done this, celebrate that you've been doing this for so long. And they kept telling me no, no, no. But like I said, what are you going to do, lock me up? We're here now. We're here. So to present you with some flowers, Carlos Patrick and Stacy Shaw, this is for all the appreciation and gratitude that you have done for us. Thank you so much. As well as commemorative pins, from Farmington Correctional Center, not just to our two coordinators, but also to Mr. Petty and to Andre Norman as well for the work that they continue to do for the incarcerated. It means so much, and we appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And last but not least, somebody had to say yes. You weren't expecting this part, were you? No. No conduct violations. So something that we did as a planning committee is there's not a whole lot that we can do. Ms. Vandergrift had to get the flowers for us because I couldn't afford flowers myself. My inmate number is 1319604 if you want to make donations. But no, we really appreciate all the staff and all the support, and they had a lot of faith in us because they said, here's the plan, here's the project, good luck. And it worked. It worked. And so on behalf of our TEDx and peer organizations and planning committees, we have some letters that we have signed and personalized for the various members that made this happen for us. So if you see a guy in a gray TEDx polo, he signed this, he agreed to these words, and we stand by our thanks and our appreciation and our gratitude. And so we have one for you, Delia Cohen, thank you. One for you, Ann Rice, thank you. Mr. Petty. Mrs. Vandergrift. Deputy Warden Bozing, where is he at? Did he leave already? Tell him we got it. Come on down here, Mr. Bozing. Come on down here. A lot of logistics, a lot of planning, a lot of phone calls. It takes a lot to get something like this done. And there are several other staff members in here as well that we have letters for. I want to thank Mrs. Pigman, who was able to find at the last minute some cool cardstock stationery for this to happen. And because of that, Ms. Pigman, you get one as well. Yes, there are a few others that we want to acknowledge. Mr. Jim Lewis from the Mattress Factory, Aaron Shepard, Luke Terrell, Mr. Kennan from RJO, Chaplain Watkins, Aaron Trowbridge, James Blanton. Look, these guys are a huge part of our team, a huge part of our success, and we thank you so much for making this all possible. Now hold on. The final part to making this work is all of you. The ball is in your court. Let's win. Thank you so much.